Beveridge, newly appointed coach for the Boomers for the national team for Australia. Thanks for joining me today on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here, first of all.
Fantastic to be here. I appreciate you reaching out and look forward to talking.
So, you've been put in charge of the Boomers squad for the upcoming FIBA qualifiers. How are you feeling to be in such a position, first of all?
Yeah, look, I think it's anybody's dream to represent their country, whether you're a player or whether you're a coach or a manager or whatever it might be. And in my situation, to be asked to be the head coach or take over from Coach Gorgon for this window. I know it's only for a few games, but I guess the faith and the trust that Basketball Australia and also Coach Gorgon has put in me to lead the team is really honouring. Very humbled by it.
And now, obviously, with the team coming from a historic summer in Tokyo, there's definitely going to be some high expectations both for you and the players. So, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's no question. And the thing we've got to realise is that we're representing our country. When we put that green and gold on, and we've got that emblem on our heart, every single player's got to let the ego go. They've got to do nothing but 100% effort. What we do, so it doesn't matter who we pick. We have to have a team on the floor that gives nothing but their effort the whole time.
And in these qualifiers, you'll be playing 4 games, right? Against the Chinese Taipei in Japan, am I right?
It'll be just 3 games. It'll be 3 games. So we'll play Chinese Taipei first on the 25th, back it up the next day against Japan, and then on the 28th we play Chinese Taipei. So it's a home and away series against Chinese Taipei, but it's actually in Japan. Japan will come back to Australia in the July window.
All right, and something interesting is that part of your coaching staff is Sean Dennis also, and he's coaching in Japan. He's coaching in the B League as well. So I'm sure he knows his way around Japan and some of his players. And how much of an effect does it have on you and the coaching staff to have someone like that?
Well, it's massive. I mean, Sean actually has worked for me for best part of 10 years. So he was one of my lead assistant coaches, one of my very close friends. We speak weekly. We're very, very close, and it made sense that because we are in Japan, his league is stopping for the window, and he's available. He knows all the Japanese players better than any of us here in Australia. So he's going to be a tremendous asset, for me and the team.
And now, moving away from the coaching staff, from the coaching team, one of the issues you'll be facing as a coach for the upcoming qualifiers is the fact that due to COVID postponements throughout the NBL, especially, there isn't going to be a break, so to speak, for the teams. And Basketball Australia has already said that it will be trying to get the best players anyway. What challenges do you think you'll have heading into the games?
Oh, look, that's another hurdle that we have to get over. It's like, I'm not trying to put the group down, but, our A team is full of NBA players. Mm-hmm. We've got 8, 9 NBA players that played at the Olympics and stuff like that. Our next group with the NBL is very, very strong. We've got a great group up, as you said, because of there's so many games being postponed because of COVID. I think 7 out of the 10 teams at the moment all have it. So that basically the league can't stop during that window. So now we've got to have a look at the next tier down, if you want to look at it that way. So we're going to target a lot of the emerging players. We're going to look at these younger players that have been part of our national junior programs, at the National Junior Worlds, the World University Games, but also looking at players that are available in Japan and Europe. So it's going to be a combination. We're going to have some seasoned veterans, but we're going to probably have quite a young group. But we want to develop those players, expose them to international competition. And I think our depth is still very, very good. We've got amazing talent coming through. So we're going to use that as part of the development of our Boomers program.
All right, and it makes sense because I was reading up on what Coach Jordan said before. He was already emphasizing on this fact of promoting up and coming talent from the NBL as well. But from what you're saying, I can take it that the fact that, for example, the likes of Patty Mills, who was influential for the Boomers this summer, won't be part of the squad for the games. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so there will be no NBA players at all. And they're right in the middle of their season as well. So to get access to them, it won't happen. And unfortunately, because of what's happening here in Australia with COVID, is that the league won't stop. So we won't get the Dellavedovas and the Nathan Sobeys and Chris Golding. It's, those players that have been to the Olympics as well, that part of the NBL. So we won't get them, unfortunately.
All right, and moving away from these qualifiers now, as a Boomers coach, I've read this week that Matisse Seibel, who was a debutant this summer for the Boomers, said that his experience with the national team has even improved his career at his club in Philadelphia. How important do you think that this involvement is for these young players like him and others? For example, even Josh Giddey, who we all know that since his transition from the NBL is looking very, very comfortable, even in the US.
Yeah, it's something that we've tried to develop for a long time. So I've been with our Boomers program since the early 2000s. I was Gordon's assistant coach back in 2004 Olympics and the 2006 World Cup Common Games. So this has been an evolving process for a long time. Is about what we call the culture of the club. That when you come into this national program, that everybody, I don't care who you are, you leave your ego at the door. It's not about you. It's about how collectively we can work together as a group to achieve something special. So right now, the Boomers, they achieved their first ever medal at the Olympic Games. Their next goal is they want gold. So that's something that we're building towards. For Paris. And we want to keep the nucleus of the team together. But it's about when you come in, you leave everything there. We don't care if you're an NBA player. We don't care where you've come from. You're an Australian and you play for Australia. And that's what we're going to emphasise with these young guys coming in, that we will have some veterans that have been around that will be emphasising, like Paddy Mills, was one of the big leaders, and Aaron Baines, Joe Ingles, those guys. When new people come in like Seibel, we don't care where you're from, you're part of our team and you do it our way. And I think that's what we're really going to emphasise, is when you step on that floor and you put that green and gold on, it's not about you, it's about the country.
Now, speaking of veterans, and you've mentioned even for the qualifiers that you've been looking at players who are playing in Japan and NBL and even Europe. There is one player who I'd like to mention, is Dante Exum, who has moved to Barcelona now. How much do you think his move from the US to Barcelona will impact his career, first of all, and does it have any impact on even maybe your decision to maybe look at him for these qualifiers as well?
Yeah, look, Dante over the last few years has had several injuries, like really unlucky injuries and things like that. So his career's sort of stagnated a little bit. And when he came back into the Boomers for the Olympics, I thought he had a tremendous campaign. Really surprised that he's not in the NBA. He's an NBA player. So for him to make that decision to go to Europe to revitalise his career, and he's an amazing athlete, an amazing person. We love the guy. He's just one of those people. And for him to leave the NBA, he's got, you know what, I'm going to go to Europe. So he's doing really well at Barcelona. highly unlikely. I mean, we've reached out to a lot of people. We got a selection meeting tomorrow night and then Monday, but obviously his name's on the list. But if he's available, 100% we'll take him. But it's probably highly unlikely because he needs to keep continuing to try and revitalise his career.
And speaking about another player who probably will need to revitalize his career, and someone who would know, even with Matisse Thybulle in Philadelphia. I mean, I want to talk about the one and only Mr. Ben Simmons now. I imagine you knew I was going to ask at some point about him. I mean, it's kind of obvious as well.
Ben's going through obviously a lot of stuff, on and off the court. He needs to sort all of that out. I mean, it's a stalemate between his club and what he wants to do and things like that. I mean, obviously things didn't end very well at all. So it's really, we'd love him to be able to put all of that aside, just move on, because he's one of the greatest players in the world. And he's still untapped. He's still young. He's still got so many years ahead of him, and we just hope as a country, for him personally, that he can come to some sort of resolution with the club. And that's the hard thing, because at the end of the day, it's a business. The NBA is a business, and what's happening there. But we want nothing but the best for Ben Simmons. That he's somebody we want part of the program moving forward, because he could be the X factor of winning a gold medal. True. And that's really, really important for us. So we just hope that he can get through that. As I said, there'll be no chance he'll be playing in this window. There's the league, their club wouldn't probably even release him anyway. Yeah. So he's just got to sort all that stuff out first.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the situation being that he might be even looking to leave Philadelphia, for example, I mean, I'm guessing it will also have an impact on his mindset playing at the moment. I mean, he hasn't played any games this season, so it's going to be like a restart if he gets to play, especially with another team now. And as a team, have you had any contact with him lately? I mean, what do you think the effect on him has been, especially because we haven't seen him in a while playing for the national team as well?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously he was part of the Boomers program leading into the Olympics and stuff like that, but got to a point there was so much going on. It was I guess the too hard basket as well. Way too many distractions, and that's the thing. Like when you're playing for Australia, leave everything aside. We don't care who you are, what your thing is. So if you got baggage there, that could have been detrimental for the team, and I think that's really, really important. With our national program. So right now he hasn't played in a long time. His mindset wouldn't be great. He's going through so much at the moment, and from a mindset perspective, he wouldn't be ready to play and lead. I mean, you expect those players to come back in and do that. So, I mean, right now this program that we're putting together is about identifying, some of the best young talent that we have. And right now, Ben probably wouldn't be a great influence on those players purely because of what he's going through. It's not saying he's a bad person or anything like that, but it's a pretty big distraction, and we want him to sort all of that out and then come back in the program when he's good and ready.
And moving back to the NBL now, away from the NBA and these players. You've coached the Perth Wildcats a while ago, and looking at the ladder at the moment, one can see that they're having a great season so far in this year's NBL, bar the COVID things and whatever. What do you think about the NBL season so far?
It's in disarray. It's been really, really difficult. Like every single week. Games are cancelled. I mean, more cancelled this week. So there's no consistency with the teams. So it's still early in the season. I mean, the most games the teams played is 7. They should be we should be halfway through the season, so we've lost so many games. They will make up for those games, but at the moment it's really difficult for the teams to get some sort of consistency because, I mean, for example, Perth, they played their first, I think it was 5 or 6 games at home. So,
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 5 games. They went 4-1. Now they're on the road, but now that they're on the road, they've all got COVID. So 13 of their players and staff have got COVID. So now they're in isolation. They can't do anything for at least 7 days. Then they've got to try and get back, because you can't train, you can't do anything. You're pretty much you're in your bubble. So that's happened with 7 teams at the moment. So a lot of the players and staff. So what the league's saying, we're hoping that because everybody's getting it now, that the back end of the season won't be interrupted. We hope. That's the thing. Like, it's such an unknown, but that's really affected the team. So I think that the teams are very inconsistent. Like, one week they're really, really good. Like they're starting to hum because they play a game, but then they stop, and it's like they're starting over and over again. The league is very good. It really has. But, shooting percentages are actually down at the moment in the league. I've had a look at that. They've dropped, 3-point shootings, in the low 30s. And a lot of that's because they don't have their legs under them. They haven't consistently trained. They haven't done that at start-stop. So all those little things there. The scores are so much lower than they've ever been. I mean, our leagues are, plays at a higher pace than the majority of the leagues in Europe. But they're lower scores. They're in the 60s and 70s instead of the 80s and 90s like it traditionally is. And I think a lot of that's to do with not be able to train and play and have consistency.
Exactly, and even the fact that they can't practice as much, it affects everything involved in the games as well. And now something to close off this interview. As you've mentioned a lot about the program, and there's already a good basis coming in from the Olympics, from the bronze, and you said they're aiming for gold now as well. The next commitment for the national team will be obviously after qualifiers, the World Cup. What do you think is the aim for Australia in the World Cup this year? Next year?
Look, we set a standard. Right. We're calling it rose gold standard at the moment, but we need to get to that next level. I mean, we were very close in the semi-final to go through the gold medal game. It was pretty disappointing, but we achieved the goal of winning the first ever medal. And that's amazing. But that's the baseline now. So the expectation of our players, it's not the country, it's not our management saying you must win a medal. It's actually the players. It's driven by Paddy Mills, Joe Ingles, Aaron Baines, those players that have been there for a long time, 3-4-time Olympians. They're bringing the next group through, so there will be an expectation within the group that for the World Cup that it's a medal. We're going for a medal. We want to put the best players on the floor to win another medal, silver or gold. But their goal is always, no, we're going for gold. If you talk to Paddy Mills and Joe, there's no discussion about, I'll win a medal. It's about, no, we're going for gold when we step on the floor. So everything we do at training, everything has to be a gold standard. And that's even with the group that I'm taking away. These young guys have got to understand that this is a high level of that we're going to have. We're going to have doctors, we're going to have physios, we're going to have security people, we're going to have everything ticked. So it's not a watered down thing, because we want our younger players to come in the program to see this is the standard of when you play for the Boomers.
Rob Beveridge, it's been a pleasure to have you with me today on the show. I want to wish you good luck for the upcoming qualifiers that you'll be in charge, and obviously all the best for the coming new year.